It's another interesting episode of Labor Lens where we bring to you updates information in the world of work and pay. I am Sharon Ijason. On this week's episode of the program, we'll be giving you a special edition on the picketing exercise that took place nationwide by the Nigeria Labour Congress. But first, let's take the news. We will be right back. These are members of the Nigeria Labour Congress at the MTN headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria, protesting against precarious work conditions in MTN Telecommunications Company.
They are enslaving Nigerian workers as if this place does not belong to us. We could remember vividly when South Africa has any issues over this issue of apartheid. Nigeria government supported, Nigeria as a whole, we supported them. Why are they introducing an apartheid in MTN? So it's total, it's uncalled for. Well, we are not going to accept it.
We are here in solidarity with our workers, colleagues in MTN. We are here in the defense of their interest. We believe worker is not a slave. Workers need to be treated with dignity and honor.
According to the president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, the picketing exercise is a show of their displeasure over casualization and poor welfare of MTN workers.
The reason for the picketing is the challenges that the workers are facing at MTN. One, basically, that there is discrimination in labor practice in MTN compared between the office in South Africa, their country of origin, and the practice here in Nigeria and in some other places like Kenya and Ghana. Workers are hired without long-term contracts. You'll find that every 3 months, they lay off workers and re-engage them. This is a known practice that employers use when they do not intend that workers should have social and pensionable benefits. Secondly, MTN practices the worst form of outsourcing. It brings in people and says they are not our workers, and yet they are able to exploit those workers through such outsourcing.
In labor, we have this saying that injury to one is injury to all. Even though we are of the public sector and MTN is majorly a private sector issue, we believe strongly that what should be done right. For instance, the Nigerian laws have not prevented people from forming unions or carrying out union activities. But the MTN is so undemocratic. It's militaristic in the sense that it has prohibited the functions or organization of unions in its outfit, which is of course not acceptable to us. And we know that we coming to give support to our own brothers will also make Nigerians to hear better.
Labour leaders arrived at telecommunications mobile service providers early at 7 a.m. on Monday morning with banners and flags indicating that the picketing will continue until Wednesday. In Kwara State, Labour accused MTN of violating basic Nigerian labour laws.
What MTN is doing in Nigeria, they cannot do in South Africa. They are unionized in South Africa. They allow their workers to be unionized, and they pay them decent salaries, decent wages, minimum wages. They allow for maternity right for the women who work with them. They don't criminalize pregnancy because the future workers have to be produced by women. Now, presently, MTN is violating basic workers' rights.
The Kano State chapter of NLC also picketed MTN office. Kano State NLC chairman and MTN Kano manager spoke on the issue.
They refuse their workers to form and join union, and they are exploiting our members and their workers, and at the same time, more than 80% of their workers are on casual basis. So there is an ongoing discussion between the National Secretariat and their head office since October last year. But unfortunately, even the NECA intervened but they decided to remain adamant.
MTN as a company, we do not have casual staff. What we have are only two sets of employees in MTN, the permanent and the contract, who come through third-party agencies. We have partnership with some third-party agencies who recruit these people and second them here. But to discuss further or elaborate, even these contract staff that are hired by third parties have got the same privileges as our staff.
Oil workers in Nigeria have suspended the ultimatum issued to the government over pending industrial disputes. The National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, however, called for stakeholder summits to enrich industrial harmony. President of NUPENG, Williams Akporia, says the 89 members sacked in OES Deep Sea in Port Harcourt have been restated.
In belief that all parties concerned will act in good faith, the national leadership of NUPENG is hereby suspended the two ultimatums. Meanwhile, it has been noted with serious emphasis that this suspension should not be taken as an abandonment of the struggle. As a matter of fact, the union might commence strike in Akwa State without further notice over the state government's nonchalant attitude towards resolving very crucial industrialization issue affecting our members in Universal Energy Limited and the Frontier Nigeria Limited.
52-year-old Amayo Augustine worked with telecommunications giant MTN for 17 years and 8 months until last year. On my visit to his home, Amayo tells me C&I Listen PLC was the company that contracted him to work with MTN. We both grab a chair so that he can share his story.
When I joined them, we started at the age with salary that time was 20,000. That we started with. So after 1 year, some people started reminding that this after 1 year now. I don't understand me. So nobody carry us along. Nobody pass our message. So from there, see now just group that they cannot release us for them again. Actually, understand me? They cannot release us. We fight for this staffing. Even the people that was there, the MTN body who came from South Africa, that we were driving. So those people will say, this is not. At time there was a time they said they want to do it by batch. I don't understand me, so that people will become a staff. They took some. They took about 3. The rest tomorrow, next month, like that. Before you could know it, we don't even know where the thing is going again. I don't understand me. So when you get to C&I where the other time we tell you they don't know what to do because they are the people we're supposed to meet. And when we meet them, they started dribble laws. So after some time, all the whites there that we're supposed to handle for, they leave. That's when it become black. Sister, that's how we become a problem to them. Then after some time, they reduce our salary. After reducing our salary, they said they are reducing because of tax. That if we should be taking that kind of 50,000, the way they will be taxing the company, different tactics. That's why they don't bring our salary back to 30-something.
Amayo has been unable to get another job and has had to relocate his family. He shows me documents on the contract he was offered on May 20th, 2001, and his confirmation letter dated June 8th, 2002. His contract was initially renewed annually until the ritual became a 6-month affair, before becoming a quarterly deal, which is the standard operated for contract workers to date.
It was just like, it's like they don't have a knife to divide us into two. what they really did there, my sister, I just like it. I just look at it as a we are just working there as a slave. Since last year till February or March, they sacked a lot of people. Some people don't know what to do, they die. But just that grace of God, that's why I'm living. I told you that my wife is not here. And since last year, I haven't got any job. I've been roaming about to check. Nothing. So when you get to the center, I say, my wife, you have to go to Benin. At least that's where I come from.
In an interview, the president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Comrade Ayuba Waba, alleged that the telecommunication giant indulges in anti-labor practice such as casualization for nearly all types of work, fixed-term contract work for Nigerian workers, and the worst form of precarious work.
Until every MTN worker gets his rights, that is enshrined in our law and international conventions, we are not going to get tired. Because for us, injury to one is injury to all. Yes. If a worker in Nigeria is treated as a slave, it means all of us workers are treated as slaves. So this is the point, and therefore this is just the beginning. We will continue in this direction. You remember that in October, during the World Decent Work Day, particularly October 2017, we engaged them at Abuja, where we thought that they are reasonable. And NECA brought them to the negotiation table to look at how to respect our laws and also make sure that the rights of workers are respected. But they never actually made commitment to those commitments they made, and therefore we thought that they are not employers that should be taken seriously, except we are able to agree on terms, clear terms, that they will be ready to respect our laws. And we call our government not to give protection to such employers because they don't deserve any protection. Yes. If they will be treating Nigerian workers as slaves, they don't deserve any protection from anybody. This is the reality. And therefore, we'll continue to protect our workers. We'll continue to make sure that they are not treated as slaves.
Once the employees,
But in a reaction, Human Resources Executive of MTN, Esther Akinukawe, debunks the allegations. She says workers are allowed to unionize and are only required to write to the management indicating they are interested in doing so.
The allegations that have been leveled against MTN are spurious and untrue. First and foremost, MTN does not have casual workers. We would not even dream of doing that because casualization is, something that is contrary to the laws of the land, and we're a law-abiding organization. Casualization means that you're bringing people in for short-term assignments, and most of the time they are daily paid workers. We do not have any such employee in MTN. All MTN employees are full-time employees. However, we do also partner with a few organizations who provide outsourced services to us. And this is international best practice. It is a business model that is used by virtually every organization, not just in Nigeria, but also all over the world. If you do, some research, you will find out about offshoring, outsourcing, and things like that. These are all business models that organizations have deployed to help support their business processes because they do not want to, focus all of their resources and attention on those aspects of the business that is not their core competence. And that is what MTN has also done. And herein lies the crux of the matter. In all the engagements that we have had with the NLC, especially since last year that we've been having constant engagements with them, some of those engagements brokered, by the Ministry of Labour, some in the company of NECA. We have advised that if any of our employees are their members, the list should be shared with us so that we can then recognize them. MTN as an organization is not averse to unionism or to unionization. We recognize the right of each and every of our employee to freely associate, so they can belong to any union that they want to belong to, so long that union is, the relevant union for our particular sector. And once we are advised of those of their members who are our employees, we will enter into the normal arrangements and agreements with them. But we do not have any such information.
In a recent interview, Labour Minister Chris Ngige spoke on the issue of casualization and outsourcing of workers in Nigeria.
A lot of the labour laws needs to be reviewed, a lot. In fact, the ILO had called our attention to the Labor Law 2004. The ILO gave us a technical team to assist us with the review. However, I observed that the reviews done were done long ago and validated long ago with the labor unions and the employers, NECA. So for me, they are overtaken by events. Even if they had been amended then, there will have been a need for another review now. Take in terms of the penalties. Some of them have penalties of 5,000 naira for very serious issues, and so it doesn't fly. Some of them also made no provision for penalties even. So these are the things we observe. That's why we have convoked inside this ministry a review team, and that review team will work with the tripartite, the social partners for tripartism again.
Amayo Augustine has worked as a casual worker all his youthful life. And just like him, millions of such workers in different sectors enter into agreements with outsourcing companies not to engage in industrial action, else their employment will be immediately terminated. On the Profile Interview segment this week, different labor leaders across the country will be speaking on the issue of casualization of workers and outsourcing of staff, which is now becoming an ugly trend in the workforce. Join me.
MTN has been operating for a very long time in this country, and I made to understand that they have violated the right of workers, especially the labor laws, precisely the conventions 87 and 98. The right of workers are not observed there. They practice a lot of anti-workers activities in their workplace. An employer that will have his employee for about 12, 15, 16 years on contract basis is just like you are working, putting in your effort and strength, energy, and at the end of the day, if they say go today, you don't have anything to fall back at. They don't work as permanent workers, they don't work under pensions. It's like, as I said earlier, immediately they say go, you don't have anything for that. Their female counterparts are not having the access to things like maternity leaves, you understand? And they work all through. So another thing is that they can employ you today and it's like a contract basis. 3 months they terminate your appointment and renew the contract so that they will not have permanent workers. It is not done anywhere like that. Presently, we have Airtel unionized, which means the issue of casualization there is a bygone. Now, you know, other telecoms in this country believe that MTN is the bigger forum. And since MTN has not been unionized, people like Etisalat, which is 9 Mobile now, Globalcom, they are looking onto MTN. Each time we go onto them, they will point at MTN. What have you done to these ones? Once a worker is not unionized, his rights are denied. There are so many things a worker as an individual cannot walk to his manager to demand for. But by the time you go in a group, that's why you see us, we believe in this very simple slogan, united we stand. So without being unionized, the strength is not there. The worker will not have the boldness because you can now see that MTN staffs here, they can't do anything. When they have issue here, it is workers, the labor, that's the telecoms union now, that can come and negotiate for them. So without being unionized, automatically they are on their own. The management can treat them anyhow and anything. anyhow. Anytime they fired and hired. And that's why they need union. That's why we want to ensure that we salvage them from this slavery that they have been into. The salary they pay them is not commensurable. As I told you earlier, our counterparts in other countries, their salaries cannot be compared with what our people are taking here. People take maybe about up to 10 times of what our people are taking here. So, but because they don't have a voice that speaks for them here, other ones have it. That's why you see them still taking these peanuts. We believe in the labor movement. One of our slogans against this struggle continues.
I think that so far, the first thing to acknowledge is the action has been successful. And we have tried as much as we can to ensure that the 3 days picketing notice we earlier gave is fulfilled. But I want to believe that MTN, seeing with their eyes that truly labor is resolved in whatever we are doing, we are resolved, and there is no going back. We are not demanding outside the rules. We have said let the worker belong to the union in order to have right to collective bargaining, right to the place of work, right to decide the environment, right like the ILO recognized. And for us, it's a global practice. And MTN, being a host of South Africa, cannot come here to disobey the laws of Nigeria. In South Africa, they belong to trade union. They do things in line with South Africa laws. So they can't come here to take any advantage of any kind to impose anti-labor on the people. We resist them, and we will continue to do so. In Nigeria, no ministry, including Ministry of Labor, is actually living to expectation. The duties of Ministry of Labor include inspection, include checking the rules at the workplace, ensuring safety and health, other standards to be respected at the workplace. But you see the absence of government role has given birth to what you are seeing today. Nigeria Labour Congress and other allies, they are the one now regulating the roles of ministries. It's unfortunate, but we'll continue to do so. Even in other sectors like construction, you see union fighting against casualization. It's not supposed to be the duty of a union to fight for people to be regularized in their employment. But this contract we are awarded on the terms that workers should work with the rules within the sector. But companies, seeing the absence of government, know that we can do and take away of this. And they are getting out of it. But labor unions, like most unions that are actively involved in checking their sector so that they don't have aberrations. And I think NSC is one and the only center that has remained resolute in terms of checkmating activities of all sectors, including fighting for the ordinary Nigerians. NSC is resolved to fight for market women, defend the voiceless. And I think we derive joy in doing this. And we will continue until MTN bow. We are not demanding them to give us anything. We are saying open the door for the law to flow in your company. And they have no choice. As a matter of fact, this is phase one. If they fail to do what is expected of them, the next action, there will be a total shutdown, because those masks that provide network, they are protected by workers. So you can't have network flying around Nigeria while we are protesting. No, if they fail to take advantage of this 3 days warning picketing, definitely take it on behalf of NSC, they will certainly lose, because there will be total shutdown. The network cannot function in this country because there must be rules and regulation for every sector to operate. I think a part of the things that we encourage and advocate is that every union, including the center, NSC, should ensure that it's not just fighting MTN. We should look beyond today's struggle. What you are saying MTN should do right. You should also check in other sectors. Where things are done wrong, we must fight them. There is no sentiment when it comes to struggle for better life. So it's part of our objective to ensure orderliness in the workplace. It's part of our duty to ensure that rules are regulated. And for me, going forward, we will make sure that no sector is left untouched. We will do everything legitimately forceful to ensure that workers' rights are respected in the workplace, and above all, decent wage will be paid.
This started in October last year, during the Work Decent Day. We picketed MTN Abuja. The management complained to us, pleaded with us, that their management at the headquarters will see to it. Meeting was arranged, even with the intervention of NECA, but the meeting broke down. So MTN Nigeria is not ready for unionization of our members. So they have been enjoying casualization, and they have been gaining from casualization. And globally, going by ILO convention and labor law of this country, all they have been doing is against whatever that can be regarded to as labor-friendly activities in the workplace. Let us say, for instance, early this year when we were in Ethiopia, we were being accused by our colleagues from South Africa, the headquarters of MTN, that the kind of policy introduced by MTN in Nigeria, they are about bringing it down to South Africa. And when they kicked against them, they even said, why must you be kicking against us? That the money we use to service you in South Africa is being generated in Nigeria, and that in Nigeria we have made it ungovernable for they have made it impossible for us to unionize MTN workers in Nigeria. So on this note, it is a challenge to us. If the money that is being generated here is used to service the continent, the money that is generated in Nigeria is used to service the continent. In fact, to us, apart from the fact that, one, the ILO conventions is against casualization. Two, we have discussed with the federal government. We have sent letters to them. NECA is aware of this, and the management of MTN, not only in Nigeria, even overseas, are aware of our struggle. A worker that is casualized has no future, no job security, no leave bonus, no gratuity, no pension. Then if you are engaged today, which has been the usual habit of MTN, if you are engaged today, after 3 months, they will disengage you. And then you now apply, reapply afresh. You now be re-engaged as a fresh casual. After 3 months again, you are disengaged. After 10 years, you are due for pension and gratuity. But somebody that has been working as a casual for 14 years, imagine. And then the worst part of it is this. If a colleague of ours in South Africa with the same certificate, the same grade level, if in Nigeria is earning 50,000 naira, in South Africa is earning over 200,000 naira. These analysis we compared, and we said it's a solid case for us in Nigeria here. So that is why we have started with MTN. And we're not stopping on MTN alone. So we are going back to drawing board. So they have been making offers to us that they wanted to meet with us so that we can resolve amicably. The point we are driving at is simple. The point is stop casualization. Go for decent work. Treat our members like staff. Stop paying them, stop treating them as slaves in our fatherland. You know, it is annoying if somebody can come from South Africa to our own land here, apart from this company evading taxation. So, two, treating our members here, what we are saying, it is unacceptable.
And that's all we can take on today's edition of the program. Join us next week for a fresh edition of the show. I am Sharon Ichason. Thanks for watching, and remember, labor creates wealth.